Angelina stood in the dim light of her Minneapolis apartment, her fingers brushing the edge of a tarnished gold trophy on the shelf, a relic from the statewide math competition she'd won at 16. She could still hear the faint applause from that day, her name printed in bold across the school newspaper, a fleeting moment of pride that evaporated when she got home. Her parents, Sophia and Matteo, had barely looked up from their coffee, muttering a flat "good job" before turning back to their routine. 2 weeks later, her younger brother Luca, 3 years her junior, snagged an honorable mention in a local soccer tournament, not even a win, and the backyard transformed into a festival. Sophia fired up the grill, Matteo strung lights, and neighbors crowded in for a barbecue that stretched past midnight. That was when Angelina knew fairness was a myth in her family. 26, she was the eldest of 4 in a 2-story house with white fences and lavender beds Sophia tended like sacred ground. From the outside, they were picture-perfect, wooden siding, a small porch swing creaking in the breeze, but inside, Angelina learned to survive in shadows. Her straight A's, her science awards, her quiet resilience faded against Luca's every move. She'd once half-joked to herself, staring in the mirror at her dark hair and sharp jaw, that she'd been switched at birth. Nothing about her matched Luca's golden curls or effortless charm. The disparities started young. In 2nd grade, she'd been chosen to recite a poem at a school celebration, practicing until her voice trembled with emotion. She'd rushed home, clutching the paper her teacher called Beyond Her Years, only for Sophia to mumble, "That's fine, get Luca's shoes off the porch, it's going to rain." Angelina froze, the praise still warm in her chest, while Sophia fussed over muddy laces. Luca was their son. When he joined junior varsity soccer, not even varsity, Sophia and Matteo bragged like he'd signed with a pro team, splurging $200 on Adidas cleats. Angelina patched her frayed backpack with duct tape that year, her requests for a new one brushed off with a shrug. Her birthdays slipped by, a stale cake at 10 if she was lucky, while Luca's 13th got tents, balloons, and 30 guests at Centennial Park. "He brings joy," Sophia had cooed to a neighbor, her voice dripping with pride as Angelina stood in the corner, snapping photos on her phone unseen. She taught herself calculus late at night, nursed her own colds with dollar store medicine, fought tooth and nail for scholarships, always alone, always met with Matteo's indifferent, "Do what you want, just don't slack." Sophia's tight smiles came with barbs. "Studying's good, but you're a girl, don't get too caught up. Family comes first." First for who? The question gnawed at her. When Luca got driven to school while she biked through snow, her breath fogging in the cold. When Sophia brewed tea for his sniffles but snapped, "Don't exaggerate," at her stomach cramps. She wasn't lacking effort, she was lacking their choice. 22, she graduated summa cum laude in economics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. 3 part-time jobs, 2 breakdowns when her scholarship nearly slipped, 1 call from Sophia in 4 years. They showed up late to the ceremony with wilted tulips from a supermarket discount bin, then made her pay $120 for dinner. "Eat frugally," Matteo had said, chewing the lasagna she'd funded. She'd vowed then, no more expectations. But 2 years later, Luca's graduation cracked that vow wide open, and with it, her silence. Angelina's phone buzzed on her cluttered desk in St. Paul, where she worked as a financial analyst at 24, her coffee cooling beside a stack of reports. It was a Thursday morning, the hum of her office a steady rhythm, when Sophia's text lit up the screen. "Luca's graduation party tonight, 6 p.m. Stone Creek Restaurant. Don't be late, bring a gift." No greeting, no question, just a command, sharp and familiar. She stared at it, her mind reeling back to her own graduation 2 years prior. Wilted tulips, a late arrival, a $120 bill she'd paid alone while Sophia critiqued her spending. Now they summoned her like a background extra for Luca's golden moment. She'd ordered an iPad Pro, $1,300, gift-wrapped in silver with a navy bow, Luca's favorite color, a sister's gesture despite the ache that never faded. She drove to Stone Creek after work, the city lights blurring past, and stepped into a scene that hit like a punch. crystal chandeliers casting a warm glow, long tables draped in crisp white linen, over 60 guests laughing over a 3-tier navy blue cake. Luca held court, grinning in a tailored suit, while Angelina stood at the entrance, coat still on, feeling like an intruder. She asked a server, "Any seats left?" He scanned the list, shook his head. "All reserved." Her eyes landed on an empty chair by Luca, until Sophia stepped in front of her. "That's for Enzo, his best friend. He's running late. Did you bring a gift?" Sophia added, her tone clipped, eyes narrowing. Angelina's throat tightened, her pulse quickening as her phone buzzed. The delivery driver outside. "Bring it in," she said, loud enough to cut through the chatter. The room hushed as the driver walked in, a silver box gleaming in his hands. "Luca, your gift, an iPad Pro," she announced, her voice steady. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Luca's eyes lit up, his grin widening. Sophia leaned to a cousin, whispering smugly, "I knew she wouldn't come empty-handed." The words slithered under Angelina's skin, a backhanded jab dressed as praise. Her smile hardened, a decision snapping into place. She turned to the driver. "Cancel it!" Silence crashed down like a dropped glass. Luca's jaw dropped. Sophia froze, her champagne flute trembling. "A 5% fee refunded in 3 to 5 days, the driver confirmed, unfazed. "Fine," Angelina said, her gaze sweeping the stunned faces. Luca slammed the table, his voice sharp. "You're humiliating me, crazy." She faced him, calm but unyielding. "You've got 60 guests, a cake, a whole damn party. If you can't handle no gift from me, that's your problem." Matteo stood, his face flushed with anger. "What are you doing, making a scene?" Sophia shrieked. "Be normal, bring a gift, sit down like everyone else." Angelina's voice cut through, clear and cold. "Normal? Like my graduation, paying for your meal with wilted flowers? Or today, no seat for me, but Enzo's late us gets one." She stepped toward the door, her parting words ringing. "If I've got no seat at this table, I've got no gift for someone who's never shared one with me." The breaking point snapped. She wasn't their shadow anymore, and she walked out head high into the night. Angelina drove away from Stone Creek, the restaurant's glow fading in her rearview mirror as she headed to a small cafe in Edina, a refuge she'd claimed years ago. The warm wooden walls and soft jazz greeted her as she ordered an iced espresso, settling into a corner booth, the weight of the night settling too. She didn't feel regret, only a strange, sharp clarity. She'd shattered their script, refused to play the dutiful daughter, and it felt right, like a chain snapping free. Her phone stayed silent. She knew they'd stew, plotting their next move. But at 11 p.m., she opened her apartment door to find Sophia on the couch, arms crossed, eyes like daggers, and Matteo leaning against the fireplace, his face heavy with disapproval. "So, you finally decided to come home?" Sophia snapped, her voice slicing through the quiet. Angelina set her bag down, peeling off her coat, her tone soft but firm. "Thought you'd be asleep after your big night." Teo snorted, a laugh thick with contempt. "After that circus you pulled? Embarrassing us in front of everyone, friends, family, then waltzing in like nothing happened?" She sat on the couch's edge, meeting his glare. "If that's a circus, maybe it's time we stop pretending I'm part of the act." Sophia leaned forward, her voice venomous. "That party cost $4,600. We think you owe us half, $2,300 for canceling Luca's gift and ruining everything." Angelina laughed, a stunned, bitter sound that echoed in the room. "What?" "I was insulted the moment I walked in, given no seat, treated like an outsider. And now I pay for a dinner I didn't even eat?" Teo's tone hardened, his jaw tight. "You're his sister, you're responsible for him. He was counting on that iPad. You ruined his night." Her fists clenched, knuckles whitening. "Responsible? Where was that on my graduation?" No party, no hug. I paid $120 for your meal while surviving on noodles to make rent. I worked 3 jobs for school, you didn't care. Sophia scowled, dismissive. You had jobs, Luca had nothing. He needed us. Angelina's eyes blazed, her voice rising. I earned scholarships, broke my back because I had to. You used my surviving as an excuse to ignore me. Teo sighed, his words a command. Family supports each other. If you earn more, you share. That's how it works. She stood, her voice cutting through the air. Support? Where was it when I was sick, cooking alone? Or my birthdays, ignored while Luca got balloons and BBQs? You demand, never give, never ask if I've got anything left to spare. Sophia shot up, pointing a finger. You're selfish, can't even help your brother. How will you survive out there? Angelina met her gaze, unflinching. I've given my whole life, today I stopped. And that's selfish. Matteo delivered the blow, his voice low and final. If you won't help, stop freeloading, get out of my house. She smiled, cold and steady. I pay $1,000 rent here for this drafty box with thin walls. If you want me gone, I'll go. Sophia faltered, her tone softening. Don't overreact, we can work it out. Angelina shook her head, resolute. Enough's enough. She walked to her room, their demand the push she'd needed to break free, her steps echoing with purpose. Morning light streamed through Angelina's bedroom window, the Minneapolis skyline hazy beyond the glass. She packed with quiet precision, 2 suitcases, clothes folded tight, essentials stacked neatly. Her laptop, a few books, the math trophy she'd kept as a reminder. No tears blurred her vision, no hesitation slowed her hands, just a steady resolve that had been building for years. She'd lived light, always ready to move, as if she'd known home was never permanent. The room, with its peeling paint and creaky floorboards, felt less like a sanctuary and more like a cage she'd finally unlocked. She'd zipped the second suitcase when Sophia knocked, barging in without waiting. Angelina, your dad was harsh last night, she said, sitting on the bed's edge, her tone coaxing. You're calm now, right? Angelina didn't look up, tugging a sweater into place. Say what you came to say, I'm busy. Sophia cleared her throat, her voice shifting to negotiation. Your car, the black Honda. We were thinking maybe Luca could borrow it for a while. He needs it for job interviews. Angelina straightened, a laugh escaping, sharp and incredulous. Borrow it? Sophia nodded, casual as if asking for a cup of sugar. Just a few months, he's got no income yet. You're working, you don't need it urgently. Angelina crossed her arms, her voice steel. I saved 8 months for that car, every paycheck, no help. If Luca needs one, he can buy it from me. Fair price. Sophia's eyes widened, scandalized. Charge your brother? Angelina's gaze didn't waver. Charge someone for my car. If we're talking family, fairness starts with not treating me like a doormat. Matteo's footsteps thudded in the hall. He loomed in the doorway, eyes dark. That's too much, Angelina. She turned, unflinching. Too much is using he has nothing to take everything I've earned. I've stayed silent too long. He stepped closer, pointing. If you think no one respects you here, get out. She stood still, then nodded slowly. All right, I'll go. And I won't come back. She grabbed her suitcases, rolling them down the stairs, the wheels thumping against each step. Sophia called after her. You can't live alone forever. Don't expect help when you need it. Angelina paused at the door, not turning. If help costs my self-respect, I'd rather face the world alone. She stepped outside, the crisp air hitting her face, and loaded the Honda. No one followed, no goodbyes, no luck wished, just the door slamming shut, a final punctuation on 26 years of being the unseen daughter. She drove to a roadside motel in Bloomington, $580 a month, a temporary haven with stained walls and a rusty faucet. It wasn't pretty, but it was hers. No demands, no knocks, just silence she could shape. She exhaled, the weight lifting, and knew this was her first step toward a life on her terms. Angelina woke in the Bloomington motel, sunlight seeping through thin curtains, the hum of the freeway a distant lullaby. No stomping feet, no Sophia's morning shouts, just a cold, unfamiliar peace. The room was cramped, the bed sagging, but it was hers, a space where no one could barge in with demands. She spent 2 days there, sleeping off years of tension, eating cup noodles from a gas station stash, her phone off to mute the world. She needed the disconnect, a breath before planting roots elsewhere. On the 3rd day, she started hunting for an apartment, nothing fancy, just a corner to breathe. 12 calls and 5 viewings later, she found a 1-bedroom in West St. Paul, $500 a month, utilities included. The building was old, 3 stories, no elevator, with warped hardwood and cream walls yellowed by time. But the window overlooked a sunlit lawn, and when she stood in the empty space, light streaming across the floor, she whispered, "This is my home." She moved in next day, 2 suitcases, an air mattress from Target, a plastic folding table. It was bare, but every item was hers, chosen for no one else. She cleaned for a week, scrubbing floors, retaping peeling paint, swapping curtains for soft blue ones. She bought a bookshelf, small but sturdy, and planted a lavender pot on the sill. It sent a nod to the old backyard, now free of bitterness. She learned to live alone, setting her own alarm, frying eggs for breakfast, deciding if she'd speak to anyone that day. Her remote job at the firm adjusted. Fewer hours, just enough to cover rent and food. No more pushing to earn extra for them. Every dollar stayed hers. Nights became her own. She read novels she'd once hesitated to buy, watched movies on her laptop, laughing loud without rebuke. She journaled, pen scratching promises to her younger self. We made it out. Forgiveness crept in, not for them but for her, to shed the anger she'd carried too long. 6 weeks in, an email from Luca popped up. How are you? I need to borrow money. No hello, no sorry, just another ask. She archived it, unshaken, and watched her lavender bloom in the golden dusk. Freedom wasn't just a word, it was this, quiet and hers. 3 months passed in Angelina's West St. Paul haven, the apartment slowly filling, second-hand couch, a rug, books stacking up. She sat at her cafe one Saturday, a cozy spot with warm light and dark roast, when her phone rang, Sophia's name flashing. Her chest tightened, then steadied. She answered, testing her strength. Angelina, I miss you, Sophia said, her voice syrupy, fake. Are you okay? Angelina sipped her coffee, unmoved. What do you want? Pause, then Sophia's tone shifted, light but loaded. Your dad, Luca, and I want to see you, family stuff to talk about. Angelina smirked. She knew this dance. Where? Sophia chirped, home tomorrow, 3 p.m. She agreed, not out of softness, but to hear the inevitable ask. The next day, she drove to Minneapolis, the Honda's hum steady, and pulled up to the old house, white fences, lavender beds, unchanged but foreign. Sophia opened the door, smiling too wide, ushering her to the living room. Matteo sat stiffly, Luca sprawled on the couch, eyes on his phone. Good to see you, Sophia said, offering tea. Angelina refused. Matteo grunted, You look fine. Luca barely nodded. Small talk fizzled fast. Sophia fidgeted, then launched in. Luca's job hunt's tough, he needs a car. We thought maybe he could use yours? Just till he's settled. Angelina leaned back, a dry laugh escaping. The Honda? I told you, he can buy it. Sophia's smile faltered. He's got no money, you're doing well, right? Teo chimed in stern. Family helps family. She set her jaw. I helped family my whole life, paid rent here, bought dinners, gave up my space. Where was your help? Luca rolled his eyes. You're dramatic, it's just a car. Dramatic? Her voice sharpened. I saved 8 months for that car, no handouts. You got parties, cleats, everything. Buy it or walk. Sophia's tone hardened. You owe us $200-300 from the party still. Angelina stood incredulous. Oh, you? For a night I was sidelined? No. Matteo pointed. Then leave again. She grabbed her keys, calm. Gladly. Past returned, but she walked out stronger, their demands echoing hollow behind her. Angelina drove back to West St. Paul, the Minneapolis house shrinking in her mirror, a weight lifting with every mile. She'd faced them, refused their game, and felt no pull to return. Days later, her phone buzzed. Luca, you're selfish. The mom's stressed, dad's mad, lend me the car. She deleted it, unshaken, the lavender on her sill a quiet anchor. Rumors trickled in via old friends. Sophia's church circle whispered about family trouble. Matteo's temper flared at neighbors. Luca's job hunt stalled. The unraveling had begun. At work, Angelina thrived. Her firm promoted her to senior analyst, a raise padding her savings. She bought a proper bed, a desk, turning her apartment into a home. One night, a coworker, Elena, asked over drinks, "Why'd you cut them off?" Angelina swirled her wine, honest. They demanded $2,300 for a party I wasn't welcome at, kicked me out when I said no. Elena whistled. Karma'll get him. It started small. Luca posted a GoFundMe, need a car for work, raising $50 before it stalled, comments mocking his spoiled vibe. Sophia called a week later, voice tight. Luca's struggling, we need $500. Help us. Angelina's reply was cool. He's 22, let him figure it out. Sophia hung up, furious. Matteo's hardware store took a hit. Online reviews tanked after he snapped at a customer, "Mind your business," when asked about Angelina. Word spread. People avoided the shop, sales dipping. She heard through Elena. Sophia's car broke down, repair costs piling up, and Luca's job interviews were excuses to dodge work. Angelina stayed steady, her life blooming while theirs frayed. She didn't gloat, just watched, knowing karma didn't need her help to strike. 6 months after leaving, Angelina's life solidified. Her apartment cozy, her job secure, friends filling the void family left. Then karma swung hard. Elena texted one morning, "Check Sophia's Facebook, big drama." Angelina opened it. Sophia's post begged for prayers, claiming family betrayal ruined them. Comments spilled the truth. Matteo's store was bankrupt, shuttered after debts mounted. Luca wrecked a borrowed car, uninsured, costing thousands. Sophia's fundraiser for repairs flopped, exposed as a scam when a cousin called her out. Angelina scrolled, detached. Sophia's pleas got no sympathy, just snarky replies. "Where's your daughter's money now?" Luca's friends ditched him, his charm useless without cash. Matteo's temper alienated the last loyal customers, his pride crumbling with the business. At home, Angelina cooked dinner, pasta, a glass of wine, her phone buzzing with updates she ignored. She'd predicted this, not out of spite, but from knowing their recklessness. A month later, Sophia showed up unannounced, knocking on her apartment door, haggard in a wrinkled coat. "Angelina, we're broke, Matteo's sick, Luca's a mess. Help us," she pleaded, eyes wet. Angelina leaned on the frame, unmoved. "You kicked me out over $2,300, now you're here?" Sophia sobbed. "We were wrong, please." Angelina's voice was flat. "You made your choices. I made mine." She shut the door, the lock clicking, Sophia's cries fading outside. Karma didn't stop. Luca faced a lawsuit over the crash, Matteo's health bills soared, Sophia's reputation tanked. Angelina thrived, her savings growing, her peace unbroken. She didn't cheer their fall, just lived, free of their weight. A year on, Angelina's world was her own. Her apartment a haven of lavender and books, her job a ladder she climbed alone. The family's collapse echoed through Minneapolis. Matteo's store sold off, Luca scrambling for odd jobs, Sophia shunned by her church after begging for cash. Angelina heard it all through Elena, who'd become her confidant. "They're a wreck," Elena said over coffee. Luca's crashing on a friend's couch, Sophia's selling jewelry. Angelina nodded, sipping her latte, feeling nothing but distance. Luca called one night, voice slurred. "You happy now? We're screwed 'cause of you." She laughed softly. "You're screwed 'cause of you, don't blame me for your mess." He hung up, defeated. Sophia tried again, a letter this time, tear-stained, pleading for reconciliation and help. Angelina burned it in her sink, the ashes curling black, her past reduced to smoke. She hosted a small dinner, Elena and 2 co-workers, laughter filling her space, a stark contrast to the silence she'd once endured. Her phone stayed quiet, they'd stopped reaching out, their pride shattered. Gossip said Matteo's illness worsened, Luca's lawsuit loomed, Sophia's fundraisers failed, karmic threads tightening. Angelina didn't revel, just lived, her strength a quiet victory. One evening, she walked her neighborhood, the crisp air sharp, and felt the fallout settle. They'd demanded $2,300, kicked her out, lost everything. She'd refused, rebuilt one. Karma didn't need her applause. It worked in silence, as she had for years. 2 years after Stone Creek, Angelina stood in her apartment, now a home, lavender blooming, a desk piled with designs, a life carved from her own hands. She'd risen to lead analyst, bought a cabin by Lake Minnetonka for weekends, her savings a fortress. The family's ruin was complete. Matteo in hospice, Luca in debt, Sophia a pariah, their house foreclosed. Elena brought updates. "They're ghosts now, nobody cares." Angelina shrugged, her peace unbroken. She posted online, herself by the lake captioned, "They demanded $2,300. I gave myself freedom." Likes poured in, but she stepped away, coffee in hand, the water lapping outside. She'd refused their price, walked out, watched karma claim them, not for revenge but for herself. Friends filled her days, her cabin echoed with laughter, her work earned respect. Sophia's last call months back begged for cash. Angelina hung up mid-sentence. She sat by the lake, the sun dipping low, and smiled, not for their fall but for her rise. They'd kicked her out over a party. She'd built a life they couldn't touch. Karma got them, but Angelina got herself, strong, free, whole.